I mentioned this last month, the ground lease term. I mean, many of you, if you've been around for maybe as long as I have, are used to 99-year ground leases. That's what we used to see. That's what I used to see as a kid back in 1979 to 1980. But then we had the enactment of Prop 13 and the development of the regulations and statutes with respect to property tax. And in California now, if you sign a lease in excess of 35 years, that lease is equivalent to a sale or transfer of the property. It is a Prop 13 change in ownership under California's Revenue and Taxation Code, and your property will be reassessed to the fair market value of the property generally. The problem for this in the ground lease setting is that if the costs to the ground lessee to run the property, including real property taxes, goes up, they're going to have less of a profit margin from their space tenants, and the desire to do the ground lease drops. So we nowadays structure our ground leases or our ground lessors to have a term of either 34 years or 34 years and 11 months initially. You can't go over that, or it's a Prop 13 change in ownership. What you can do is, but you can't do this at the get-go when you sign the ground lease, but if things are going swimmingly and you're still young enough to enjoy getting this fabulous ground lease rent in every month, let's say you get to year 20 in your ground lease, your ground lessee is doing a fabulous job, your rents are going up, and you think, well, this is not a bad deal, let's extend this. So you can, in year 20, do another 12 or 14-year extension onto your ground lease at that point in time to add to the initial term, as long as you don't ever exceed a 34-year term of the ground lease at the time you do your extension. I hope I explained that clearly enough. Now, the term of the sublease in more the term of the ground lease, I was working on a sublease earlier today. The term of the ground lease can be shortened by certain rights that the sophisticated ground lessee and its attorneys may negotiate to acquire your client's fee interest under the ground lease prior to the 34-year expiration date of the ground lease. This can be by means of puts and calls. I'll get to this later. A right of first refusal if your client, the landlord, wants to sell their fee interest. The sophisticated ground lessee will usually want a right to match the offer, or they may negotiate for a right of first offer or right of first refusal. We'll get to these in a bit.